we're going to be listening to a song that came out this week from a band that we have not heard from in a very long time. A band that I was a fan of as a kid. JJ, you said you were a fan of.
Yeah.
Evan, I'm not sure if you were a fan.
Literally nothing except for whichever one was on Rock Band.
Okay,
Cool.
yeah.
Knights of Sidonia?
Yeah, Knights of Sidonia.
Maybe.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about Muse, their new song, Unravelling, which came out. As I said, I liked Muse as a kid, but then as things kept going, I'm like, this band is kind of corny and cheesy. And then, like, their albums kept getting cornier and cheesier. Like, there was that album, Drones. Do you remember that? The album cover with, like, it was an album cover where, like, someone's head... It was like an army guy's head, but it was like a stick shift for like a video game controller. Like it was very like Megadeth.
It looked
like,
AI generated before AI was making stuff.
That's a good way to put it.
Oh, that rules.
It was so cool.
That rules so hard. That is Megadeth.
Yeah. I know. It was like Megadeth before, after like trying to recreate that same, like the government.
Euthanasia.
Yeah. And that album was so goofy. I mean, some of those, like, they were going, like, full-on cock rock. And it was kind of what was in at the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of noticed that Muse kind of, they had Madness.
Yeah.
Where they were doing, like, more of an electronic thing. And I kind of noticed they do, like, follow. They're a band that is a heavy follower of trends.
They sit back and watch everything unfold.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, let's get in on that action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought of them as kind of like derivative from Radiohead a bit, like kind of taking sort of like similar sonic palettes to Radiohead and making them like into pop rock. Like the people that would listen to Radiohead and be like, why don't these guys just rock out?
Yeah.
And Muse is kind of like, well, we do that.
We do.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to a single off their last album, that Will of the People.
Yeah.
And it being like real bad.
It was basically The Beautiful People by
It was,
Marilyn
yeah.
Manson. It was like the will of the people. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Well,
but we all know
what this is.
Exactly.
They're like the Coles brand Radiohead. A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
but with less taste.
Yeah.
There was a point in time, I think, like I didn't even know, but like Muse was one of those bands that like they were kind of had their breakout or were getting a little bit popular like late 90s. Like they were still around that same time.
When I looked them up, it said that they started in like 94
Yeah,
or
yeah.
96 or
they were
something
playing festivals like late 90s and they had really good songs and albums back then. Like, I don't know if you ever heard Plug-In Baby. It's a really fucking insane song. And Matt Bellamy is a great guitar player. Like they're great musicians.
Amazing singer too.
And they do have songs that I still think are like great, like that really hold up from back in those days. And I still think like Hysteria. I told you guys like Hysteria is the first thing I ever learned on the bass. And every time you walk into a Guitar Center, you're going to hear someone playing Hysteria on the bass.
Yeah.
And Muse is also every Guitar Center employee's like favorite band for some reason. But yeah, I mean they just I feel like they were legit and they were kind of that like Radiohead for the rock music fan a little bit.
Well,
but they just kind of, they kind of became like the butt of a joke after a while.
It was the Uprising that really
it was probably
took them in
Uprising.
the toilet.
Which is not the worst
It's
song
a good
on
song.
earth. It's not that bad.
But I heard it 45,000 times.
It was every time you turn on the radio.
NBA on TNT got a hold of that, and it was being synced up to fucking, LeBron James highlights.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that song.
Yeah, you've heard that song.
Yeah, that song was great.
The album I really got into and stand by is The Second Law, which I
Second
saw
Law,
them on that. That's where they went full dubstep.
That was Madness.
Yeah, with the iPad bass. Mad. Yeah, there's a song on there that sounds nice.
Me and you right there.
That was pitched up.
That was good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a song on there, Supremacy, which just sounds like Kashmir.
I remember that. Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're just it's like Disney rock.
Yeah,
me,
a little bit. I
bit.
mean, it's like the best band for your like casual like radio rock listener. I would say, which there's nothing wrong with. But they have this new song called Unravelling. It's their first song in couple years.
They
what
put
was
out their
last
latest
album?
record was "The Will of the People."
Yeah.
And the album cover is just their heads as like
classic
crumbling, like
That's
crumbling
monuments.
fucking stones.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, Will
It's
of
awesome.
the People.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Will of-
2022. Yeah, but yeah, you can really tell, like, just looking at those album covers, like that they really were after the Resistance. They really started going after trends.
Yeah.
And let's see what they do here on Unraveling.
I've never listened to this. I haven't listened to this song.
You haven't
yet.
listened to it
You
yet?
guys have.
Yeah,
so this is
I've heard it.
my live
Yeah,
reaction.
I'm excited for this. Let's
Me too.
check it out. Unraveling, Muse. Kind of it takes a little bit to get started here.
I like that sequencer.
Little
Yeah.
Stranger Things action going on.
Oh, good call. You can kind of hear that Tom York influence in his voice.
Yeah,
A little
bit.
bit,
He
yeah.
almost looks a little bit like Tom York.
A little bit. Yeah. I remember he was an unlockable character in one of the Guitar Hero games. You can
serious?
unlock
Matt Bellamy.
Matt Bellamy.
Yeah, it's like, am I going to spend my credits on Slash or Matt Bellamy?
That's how
That's really
big
cool.
Muse was. At
They
one
were
point.
huge.
It's crazy.
I-
But yeah, I mean,
Hearing some Sleep Token going on a little bit.
yeah, I mean, like if I was to say anything about it, like at this moment, it's like okay, Muse isn't like a stranger to electronic type of shit, but like when you go here, it's like, what have we heard that's exactly like this in the past 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
gravity
there you go.
Yeah,
shifter,
the gravity
jump
shift.
guitar.
I'm picking up on a little bit of Sleep Token.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Our boys are waking up to the new trend.
Yeah, dude.
Muse comes out, they
Yeah.
just all have Halloween masks on.
Yeah.
Matt Bellamy's like, that was never my name.
I'm not Matt Bellamy. I'm different.
I'm 16 now.
I'm younger. I'm better. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still got the like grandiosity
Yes.
of Muse.
Yeah.
It's got the twinkly bits. It's got the epic vocal on
Yeah.
it.
It's got the anthemic type of big chorus with the big guitars, but the Djent guitars was something I was like, okay, they picked up on that trend. It was noticeably heavier than anything I've ever heard from Muse. I'm like, that's cool, but it is them just like going after this younger thing. But I don't mind it when they like. I feel like they weren't so far off from it before, like this doesn't like completely throw me off and go like, oh, they're just trying to do what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
from
but it's not.
yeah, it's like they're not introducing an element that's like completely foreign. They've
Yeah.
done stuff with synths.
Yeah.
They've had these big like heavy slabs of like anthemic rock.
Yeah.
It just the way that they are employing it does feel like a pretty calculated like this is what the kids want.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to give them. But they like this still sounds like Muse to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it still
As like a
sounds-
very casual listener of
Yeah.
Muse, this doesn't sound unlike the other stuff that I've heard. I don't remember maybe quite doing anything like this.
nothing that was
I like
quite this
this,
heavy.
but-
yeah.
And I also think too, it's like if you're going to steal, well, not steal, borrow from trends going on at the
Yeah.
time, we're not. It's not like we hate the elements at play of Sleep Token.
No.
It's
no.
just how they like manifest that we
Yes.
don't really like.
Correct.
So like if you give me something a bit more straightforward with the Djent, with
Yeah.
a big obvious chorus,
Yeah.
I don't hate it as much as like 5 minutes of like rapping over Drake beats to get like 13 seconds of Djent guitar later.
And then call it metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is still like very like well ingrained in rock music. And like the Djent part of it just seems more of like a treat where it's like it's a little bit heavier than what we usually do, but it's still Muse, Like if those guitars were, like I mean that's fucking cool.
I mean, this
you know?
is cool.
this is sick.
This is cool. I have to kind of tip my hat to them on this one.
Wow,
it's
that
not,
was pretty cool.
It's not my favorite thing. I don't like typically love this music. Like it's kind of Muse is kind of one of those like we're fucked bands.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they are always
I
writing.
mean, Will
about-
of the People
Will
in
of
my
the People.
head is a giant like
Yeah.
statue that's
Drones,
been rumbled in time.
Uprising. Like they've been preaching this since 2009.
Cue
They're kind of-
the hurricane siren.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're fucked beyond belief. Let's
Yeah.
make a new Muse song.
Yeah, they're like the Black Mirror of bands.
Yeah,
you know?
they kind of are. Yeah.
And that's
Just looking at those like album covers,
Yeah.
you're like Charlie Booker is writing the
Right.
new Muse album.
They kind of went in a direction with this album cover or whatever, maybe it's single cover where they're rocking like a Beyond the Spider-Verse type
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh
you
wow,
know?
I didn't even realize that there is like Spider-Man.
It's like a Spider-Man
like,
looking
in the mirror.
figure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
I can get behind it, you know, when it's Muse. Like, you know, we've listened to plenty of We're Fucked songs, but with Muse being almost an originator of this type of music, I'm like, hats off to him for jumping on the train.
But they're
and,
not
you know.
like Republican dads, you know.
No, it's not really like that. It's just like, you know, I would expect Muse to sound like this in 2025 if they were going to come back, you know.
Yeah, and they're not like, I need a beer and you don't want me showing up
Yeah.
to your daughter's birthday
Yeah,
party.
it's nothing like that.
It's not that.
No, it's the godfathers of We're
Yeah.
Fucked. Because, you know,
Exactly, the godfathers.
coming out of retirement
Yeah.
to be like, I'm going to show you whippersnappers a thing or two.
Yeah.
Let me show you how
We can
fucked
play-
we
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I can buy us an 8-string guitar too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, especially going back and hearing that Will of the People song,
Yeah.
like, the We're Fucked is just so on the nose, and, like, that, like, rhythm is so derivative of the Marilyn Manson song.
Yeah.
Like, this has the aesthetic of a We're Fucked,
Yeah.
but, like, none of, like, the hitting you over the head
Yeah.
with, like, listen up, sheeple. You know?
They've already done that.
Yeah, exactly.
They already they've dug that fucking field dry.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's-
Drones
they've
was like
done-
11 years ago. I called you all automatons,
Yeah.
and you didn't get it.
They didn't get it at that point. Now
probably-
it's the thing to do.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I don't know. I really like Bellamy's voice. I think it's like really good.
Yeah.
And like I think it's like a little bit more believable over these epic things because his
Yeah.
voice is epic versus Vessel.
Yeah. We
Who's-
grew up with him, dude. He was
Yeah.
telling us that they will not force us.
Yeah.
You know, in
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah. Are they British?
I don't know. I think
I don't
are
think I've ever
British.
heard them talk.
I think they. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever watched a Muse interview.
Yeah, we should check out the
We should
Zane
check
Lowe
it out,
Muse.
yeah. Oh,
it's the
dude.
best record you've ever done.
Zane Lowe's gonna be all over this one.
So how fucked are we?
Yeah, I
You
was
guys-
trying to look up their Spotify bio to see where they're from, and it just says Will of the People.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
they haven't gotten around to
Yeah.
updating that bad
That's
boy.
awesome.
Yeah.
They're
That's
like,
pretty cool.
you know what I really just thought of? It's like they were when like 30 Seconds to Mars were kind of like trying to blow up and become, you know, more of that like
Stadium Rock.
stadium rock thing. It was very like derivative of Muse.
Oh, big
And I
yeah.
didn't even think
the
about
Kill. Like
Yeah,
that
The
big,
Kill.
giant anthem.
Well, even
If
like
I
even
wanted to break.
even after The Kill though, there was that album with you probably don't know any of the songs I'm about to like
Hit me with them.
the
dude.
one with it was an album called This Is War and had like the tiger head on it. Night of the Hunter. No.
This is all. I'm more into the
Yeah.
Jared Leto filmography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when he
You can
gets his
tell.
ass beat
Yeah.
in Fight Club.
I'm more into
That's
the
really
fucking,
where I
his
live and
Marvel
die.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morbius. Dude.
Yeah, Morbius.
If you couldn't tell, I had a little bit of a 30 Seconds to Mars
You
phase in
think so?
high school.
Yeah, it's called. What the fuck was it called?
Night of the Hunter.
Yeah, Night of the
Yeah,
Hunter.
that was a sick song.
How do you not know that?
If I can. That's an older one, I think.
Well, I think what Muse has that 30 Seconds to Mars did, or the other way around, is that, you know, one of those guys is a movie star.
Yeah.
None of those dudes in Muse are going anywhere other than Muse. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're
Yeah.
playing the iPad
They aren't
bass.
faking it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're genting it up now.
Yeah.
Matt
I-
Bellamy is actually going to be the new Joker.
Yeah. 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 Matt
And
Bellamy's
he's gonna
be
sing
in,
in the movie.
he's gonna be in Morbius too. Still
More
morbid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, no, Kings and Queens was. You ever remember that? We are the Kings and Queens. You don't remember that song?
You sound really good singing
Yeah,
it, though.
dude, I studied Jared Leto. Closer to the Edge. Oh man.
Yeah, you can't see the hat, but he has
Seriously,
damage
dude.
tattooed on his forehead. I'm a big Leto guy.
Yeah, I got the mouth right
Yeah.
here, dude.
Yeah, you just find a treasure trove of pictures of me in like Halloween 2012 doing the whenever that fucking movie came out.
You were trying to force your wife to be Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I
She's
was
like,
you
no,
gotta do it.
No.
Yeah. Everyone was Harley Quinn and the Joker that year.
Yeah, they were.
Um,
Still are.
Still are, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, gotta tip my hat to Muse. Not a bad song.
Yeah.
Unravelling. I don't know if I think they're probably gonna put out a record this year. And I'm sure we'll be here for it.
We'll be all over it.
We're gonna be all over it.
That and the Black Keys and
Yeah.
a bunch of other shit.
All of our old legends. Yeah.
Dude, all our old legends who let us down.
Yeah.
Coming back, yeah. But yeah, go check out Unravelling by Muse. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments. Is it is it too much of a ripoff of the Djent stuff that's going on today? Do you like it as much as we do?
Do you like us?
Do you like us? Is this
You know-
podcast stupid? Just let us know in the comments.
Check out our clips.
Check out our clips, yeah.